Just before sunrise in Manama, Bahrain, the calm was shattered by a piercing alarm. Soldiers leapt from their beds as emergency sirens screamed out a warning. In the city beyond the razor wire fences, windows rattled as a thunderous explosion echoed over the rooftops. The U.S. military base, home to the powerful Fifth Fleet, had just been hit by a missile. Panic swept through the barracks as men and women scrambled for protective gear. In the control room, red lights flashed, showing incoming threats. Security teams rushed to their stations. Across the city, people woke up to a strange, distant boom, followed by ambulances racing through empty streets. Military police locked down the base, keeping everyone on high alert. Outside, local police and firefighters coordinated with U.S. forces. The sense of safety that had settled over Manama was gone in an instant, replaced by fear and confusion. The attack was more than just an explosion, it was a message. The first warning came at 5:41 a.m., when radar detected an unidentified missile heading toward Bahrain's coast. Within seconds, emergency protocols kicked in. On the base, loudspeakers blared, "Incoming! Take cover!" Soldiers dashed to bunkers, clutching helmets and gas masks. Commanders shouted orders as phones rang off the hook. Medics rushed to their stations, ready for the worst. The missile struck with a deafening crack, sending a shockwave through the compound. Shrapnel tore into vehicles and buildings, triggering small fires. Sirens and flashing lights filled the air as first responders checked for wounded and put out flames. Bahraini firefighters and police set up roadblocks, pushing back crowds of worried onlookers. Helicopters circled overhead, searching for other threats. Within 30 minutes, the fires were mostly out, and the injured were on their way to medical care. The base was sealed tight, with extra patrols guarding every entrance. By sunrise, the chaos had settled into tense order. As the sun rose over Bahrain, news of the attack began to spread. At first, only a few details came out. An explosion, a military target, some injuries. Local journalists rushed to the scene, snapping photos of smoke rising from the base and interviewing shaken residents. International news networks picked up the story, broadcasting live updates to the world. But on social media, the story moved even faster, and not always accurately. Hashtags like Bahrain attack and US base strike trended within minutes. Videos claiming to show the explosion raced across Twitter and TikTok. Some posts said dozens had died. Others blamed different groups. Rumors swirled about a second missile or another attack on the way. Officials tried to calm the chaos by releasing short statements. The situation is under control. Still, fear spread quickly. Even thousands of miles away, American families waited anxiously for updates, worried about loved ones stationed at the base. Along with real updates, confusion and false information took hold, making an already tense situation feel even more dangerous. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet has called Bahrain home for almost 30 years. Their base, just outside Manama, is one of America's most important military hubs in the Middle East. From here, the fleet protects major shipping routes, keeps watch over Iran, and helps fight piracy and terrorism. The base is a city within a city, with docks for warships, aircraft hangars, and housing for thousands of sailors and Marines. Security is tight, fences, cameras, armed guards everywhere. But the base is also a bridge between the US and Bahrain, bringing money, jobs, and international attention. More than a fifth of the world's oil passes through nearby waters. If this base was seriously damaged or forced to close, it could disrupt millions of barrels of oil and threaten global markets. The attack was a blow at one of the world's most sensitive and strategic places. For the people of Manama, the missile attack felt like a nightmare come true. In the hours after the blast, streets near the base were blocked off, shops stayed shut, parents kept children home from school, too afraid to send them outside. The city, usually busy and lively, was suddenly quiet and tense. Locals huddled in small groups, trading stories and rumors. Some worried that more attacks were coming, while others remembered past conflicts and feared the return of violence. One shopkeeper said, "We never thought this would happen here. Now, nothing feels safe." For families of soldiers, the fear was even worse. Many just couldn't reach their loved ones for hours. At the same time, there were acts of kindness. Neighbors checked in on each other, and volunteers delivered food and water to first responders. Religious leaders called for calm and unity. The city's strong community spirit shone through the fear, but nobody could ignore the heavy stress and uncertainty in the air. People turned to their leaders for answers, wanting reassurance that the worst was over. Within hours of the attack, officials in Bahrain and the United States gave their first statements. Bahrain's Ministry of Interior called for calm, saying, "Security forces have responded swiftly. The situation is under full control." The U.S. Embassy released a message for American citizens. "We are monitoring the situation closely. Please follow all local safety instructions and avoid the base area." The Pentagon confirmed the attack, saying most personnel were unharmed and that all necessary steps were being taken to protect Americans and their allies. Both governments stressed their partnership. Bahrain's foreign minister said, "We stand together with our allies in the face of threats to our nation's peace and security." The U.S. Secretary of State echoed this, calling the attack an act of aggression and urging for restraint. Still, for many, these words did little to erase the shock and fear from that morning. The attack on the U.S. base in Bahrain was quickly felt far beyond Manama. Global oil prices jumped as traders worried that the vital shipping lanes near Bahrain could be at risk. Energy companies reviewed safety plans and sent extra warnings to their tankers. At Bahrain's port, cargo trucks lined up as customs officials checked every shipment. Some international flights were delayed or rerouted. In nearby Gulf countries, governments quietly ordered military forces on higher alert. The attack renewed old fears that violence in the Middle East could once again threaten the world's energy supply and spark a wider conflict. Allies sent messages of support to Bahrain and the U.S., but also urged everyone to avoid dangerous escalation. The world was reminded how quickly one strike could shake the global economy. As the hours passed, a flood of information and misinformation spread online. Some people claimed to know exactly who was behind the attack. Others said it was a false flag or part of a much larger plot. Fake videos and edited images made it even harder to figure out what was true. Security experts went on TV and radio, urging people not to jump to conclusions. "We must wait for real evidence before blaming anyone," one analyst said. "Rumors can do as much damage as missiles." Officials reminded the public to rely only on trusted news sources and to report suspicious activity, not share unverified stories. The U.S. and Bahrain both promised to investigate fully and share the facts as soon as possible. The message from experts was simple: stay alert, stay calm, and don't let fear or rumors make the situation worse. By nightfall, Manama's streets were quieter than usual, but the mood was tense. The U.S. base remained on high alert. Families waited for news, wondering if their loved ones were safe or if more attacks might come. Life in Bahrain had changed, and nobody knew for how long. Many questions were still unanswered. Who planned the attack and why? Was it a warning or the start of something bigger? The attack on the Bahrain base was more than just a local tragedy. It was a signal that tensions in the Middle East remain dangerously high. For now, the world watches and waits, hoping that leaders will choose calm over conflict. The people of Bahrain and the world are left with a single hope: that the next dawn will bring peace, not more crisis.